I reckon we should start a little bit early. Good evening. Good evening, you fine, beautiful people. How is everyone? This glorious Tuesday, the sun, I mean, the blinds are closed, but the sun is out, I assure you. Everything's calm, everything's chill, the world is good. So let's ruin it all, shall we, with a little bit of Football Manager. For those that weren't around on Friday evening, we had a pretty torrid time of it, dropping 3, 5, 7, 9 points over the course of like 6 or 7 league games, losing in the last minute to Marseille in the Champions League as well. It's all gone a little pear-shaped, so we've got a lot of work on our hands. But before we get over and we properly catch up, let's say hello to this glorious gabble of people in, starting with the beautiful, the amazing, the wonderful Kwan, who has finally stepped down from Augsburg. And did you say it was 2046 to take over the Man United job? Sounds amazing. Sounds like it should be a fun next step in that save, which is awesome. We have the wonderful, the amazing RJ. He's a little bit tired, understandable, a long day, meetings and boring stuff, the kind of things to really drop your energy. I hope, though, that otherwise everything is going well. Spotlight on someone with a better looking beard. I see. Look at this, the beard is back. The beard almost looks like a proper beard. How about that, hey? We've got G&G in as well. Lovely to see him, my dude. Not too far away from starting a new save himself. Now, if you haven't checked out G&G's Wick Academy save over on YouTube, you've got to go and do that. Absolutely fantastic series. Something like 151 episodes. I think it was 151. So if you've ever got a long travel ahead, you just need to queue them up and get through them. Absolutely incredible. And you hear his lovely, beautiful, lilting Irish tones. We've got Quadmo in. Quadmo, fresh from a gig on Saturday night, an hour set. That sounds exhausting. I'm glad to hear that it went well, though. We also have DM Basis in. How are you doing, sir? It's lovely to see you. And DM Basis is wanting to appreciate just how good Richard Iowani is. And he's right. He's right, as is Matthew Holness. As you mentioned, I would love... I'm always a little reticent to steep too far in nostalgia. Often when shows come back, they're never quite so good. But a proper Garth Marenghi reboot would be a fine thing. Jinro's in as well. Welcome in, Jinro. Lovely to see you, my dude. Jinro's final exam is tomorrow, so fingers crossed for you. I hope it goes well. There's a little part of me that wants to say, what on earth are you doing here? Get offline, get a good night's sleep, do a little bit of revision if you really need to, but get yourself a good night's sleep. There's plenty of time. There's a whole summer ahead. But I do very much appreciate you being along. It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle? Oh, Jabbits, you absolute star. That is 6 months. 6 months with Prime. It is very much appreciated, to the extent that it's more than I could count. I mean, I know that I have more than 5 fingers on one hand. I'm still a little bit slow though. Bless me. Bless me. Oh dear. This bodes well, doesn't it? This bodes well. I cannot manage basic English or basic maths. Welcome in the medical car. Lovely to see you as well. And to Zerachul. Zerachul had a shit day at work, but has had a nap and a cinnamon bun. And I think that means that you're winning in life, to be honest. I mean, a nap is good. A cinnamon bun, arguably even better. Rowan is in as well. Welcome in, Rowan. How are you doing, sir? Lovely to see you. How are you, my fine man? Yigit is in as well. The beard is back and so is Yigit. Lovely to see you, my dude. How have you been? It's wonderful. We also have 99. Jinro is in. Jinro is now in over on Twitch. Lovely to see you over here. And we have Night of Knee over on YouTube. Lovely to see you, my dude. Right, shall we catch up on where things have been going? Because it's been going backwards, I think would be the best way of putting things. We currently sit in 4th. We are 5 points behind Fiorentina, which doesn't seem insurmountable, but we are 4 points behind Juventus, who have a game in hand. Realistically, the way they've been playing this season, we'd expect them to win that, which will put us 7 points behind after only 12 games. Certainly not insurmountable, but we need to change. We need to change because this is a very, very disappointing last stream. We started off with a very, very bad performance away from home against Bologna. We were just, for want of a better way of putting it, we were shit. We played okay against Sassuolo, not brilliantly, but we deserved the win. We played what was arguably our best game against Cagliari at home, bottom placed Cagliari at home, and we failed to score. Champions League away against Mulder, we scraped by. Udinese, we were pegged back twice by Udinese, including a late goal. We got an okay win against Hellas Verona. And then we ended the stream on a real bad note. Marseille beat us in the last minute. And then Genoa, who were now bottom of the table. Thankfully, we'd given Cagliari a point, which helped them push up. And then we lost to Genoa. We dominated, then we conceded. We equalised, then we conceded immediately thereafter. And it's been a little bit rubbish. So we need to change things. We most definitely need to change things quite a bit. So that's going to be what we're going to do. I haven't advanced time. I haven't moved up to the next game, despite there being an international break until we play Lazio at home. We're currently down in 16th. We're going to have a look through, see what direction we should go in, how we're going to try and fix this, and probably end up reverting back to what we were doing anyway, you know? So Rowan, you've had a nasty flu for a couple of days. Oh, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. But you had a great TwitchCon, so that's okay. Yes, of course. TwitchCon, they've been doing it in the Netherlands quite a bit in the last few years, haven't they? It's good to hear that was good. And I hope that you're starting to feel a little bit better with the flu there, my man. So, Night of Nice, Cinnamon Buns rock. Don't they just? Don't they just? As actual, yeah, Mulder was the most important game. That is very true. We did put all our effort into it. I think we evidently overexerted ourselves. So let's have a look at the squad so far. So we've got Atabulo. He's arrived as a new signing. He is still preventing more than he's conceding. Just, I mean, we give up less than 1 XG per game. We concede 0.77. Defensively, things aren't awful, even if we have been conceding some important goals. Oh, welcome in, Blue Lions, as well. Lovely to see you, my dude. How are you? How's your weekend been? We don't actually need to go into the profiles for these. I can already see an issue here. Björn Rod, 60% tackle win rate for a starting centre-back. Emeru Hisuki, 68% tackle win rate for a starting centre-back. Ilario Monterisi is the only one who's actually doing well in his draws. 88% tackle win rate, 80% header win rate. Rod's header win rate's okay. Hisuki's is fine. Pizza Pasta and Doner Kebab have not played enough minutes really to make an assessment on there. Sure, 8% tackle win rate for Doner Kebab is great. 42% header win rate is awful. Vice versa, 50% tackle rate is awful. 76% header win rate is great. But though, like 247, 281 minutes each, that is a concern. Oh, actually, look at this. Kajuste, a ball-winning midfielder, 63% tackle win rate. Actor Koglu, Nuama, they're both under 70. Benato's only on 10. Like, normally, I would expect... I tend to find that attacking players have a higher tackle win rate as well. So for these guys to be quite low, I think I can safely say that my biggest concern is that we can't tackle for shit. So, Quez wants to name a new Negen. What are you going for? What would you like to go for? Are you going for just pineapple? Because I would very much appreciate that. So, Jinro, you've got your biology GCSE paper too. Oh, that's how... I mean, I was awful at biology. So I do wish you the best of luck with it. Just the best of luck with it. So you want Anita Hammer. Anita Hammer is... So, which one of our... We've got Rod already named. We've got Hasuki named. Let's make Pafundi Anita Hammer. Boom. There we go. Yeah, so we've, like, already looking through this, I can immediately see that tackling is an issue. I've cleared out most of the tactics, but I mean, there was the same set of instructions for all of them. So first thing I think we want to do is take get stuck in off. And my thinking that comes out of this is if we're not going to be trying to engage, we want to avoid tackling as much as possible because we're not very good at it. DM Basis wants to rename. You're going for pineapple pizza for any regen. Beautiful. Right, so we've got pizza pasta. And where is our next regen on this list? We've got Doner Kebab. We've got there. We've got Ricardo Rocha. Look like... No, you'll get Diego Carmo. Ricardo... Can we give out Ricardo Rocha's name? I've previously refused to do Ricardo Rocha. And then if you name one for the first time and I give you the guy I've refused to, that looks like favoritism. So let's do it with Diego Carmona. Pineapple pizza. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So yeah, if we're going to stop tackling, or we want to minimize tackling, then the way we want to get back the ball is we want to force people to clear it. So essentially, I'm going to want to increase my pressing. We've for most of the save, we were running with a much higher defensive line, mid-block, more often pressing. At AC, we did drop down to a higher defensive line, just to kind of try and get a little bit more control, which hasn't necessarily helped a great deal. So we are going to push all the way up. I think that's going to be the first step, and we're going to step up more. What I want my players to do is I want them to harass the opposition and hopefully force them to just punt it clear. I've got confidence that in Monterisi and Rod in particular, we've got players at the back that win their headers. So that's going to be a key part, I think, of what we change going forwards from there. Rowan says, just get Lorenzo Luca and you'll win everything. Indeed. We would need to transition. We are going to abandon our dive. So a large part of our problem was our strike force was a false 9, a singular false 9, because we were playing with them creating the diamond with the libero stepping up and stuff like that. I don't think Lorenzo Luca would work as a 9, but a false 9. But I think we're going to have to abandon that right now. That's a damn basis. The wife is making halloumi flatbreads with some homemade guac whilst you sit in your fat ass here waiting for food. That sounds amazing. That sounds like the perfect evening. Night of Neat. Oh, if the player got renamed to Pineapple, he could be paired with Pasta Pizza. Controversial but unstoppable. Absolutely. So the Quez is trying to transition to a 3 at the back sit formation using the MLMR. I've always liked the idea of having players in the midfield line, but they're so bad at tracking back, even with like specific instructions on them. The defensive man in me just can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Do you call them Hawaiian pizzas up there or just pineapple? They're just pineapple pizzas, right? Are you secretly shipping in Mars bars? I mean, if anyone wants to ship me deep fried Mars bars, I am more than welcome. Welcome in, by the way, SLB190. Thank you very much for the follow. If you're comfortable chatting, love to know who you're playing with in FM, who you support, but no obligation. No need to chat if you don't want to. Johnson's in as well. Welcome in, my dude. Let's see if you'll be able to play and watch some FM without your PC crashing before the Finland game. How are you feeling about the game later on? I mean, surely anything's going to feel better than Saturday night. Harass the opposition and pump them clear. Exactly. Says no Lewandowski, but there is Matty Cash, the great Matty Cash. So when are we going to get Night of Knee on here? What's wrong with Twitch Knee? What's wrong with YouTube Crudmo? I mean, why not head on over and chat there? Be beautiful. That would be a wild formation for sure. That would definitely be wild. I'm thinking, so what I did do before I start here was I popped on over to the world menu and I looked at the managers, specifically club career stats sorted by win percentage. I wanted to see what formations were being used by maybe someone that we would consider to be up and coming, you know, someone that maybe isn't as well known. We could see what's going on out there. Now, the first name that came up was Eduardo Coude. I mean, 58 years old, he's not up and coming. He's been around for a while, but he's had a good 7 years stint with Internacional, playing a 4-4-2. We started our career with a 4-4-2, so that seems very, very appealing to me. Thiago Caprini also playing in Brazil, so 4-2-3-1, which we are absolutely going to ignore. So I've been looking, generally speaking, for someone with around between 50 and 150 games in management and a high win percentage. I want to exclude all those that have only managed like 30 games. That's not enough. And I want to ignore those that are kind of established. So Knutson is probably a little bit too many games there. Knutson is a 4-3-3 advocate with, oh my word, Kjetil, calm down. Lots and lots of tendencies there. Poyo Asbargi at if no porking at if no porking. Spent most of this save in Qatar, which is interesting. Bakari's a little underneath our one there. Diego Martinez at Boca Juniors, another 4-2-3-1. So the 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3 are the only ones I want to avoid. We've got another 4-4-2 here for Tigres. Robert Siboldi, 67 years old, not an upstart either. But there we go. Antonio Oliveira, another, again, Brazilian managers again, another 4-2-3-1. Stefan Dief at Ajaccio. Who knows? You know my pronunciation is bad. Another 4-4-2, albeit a very cautious one. They're currently in the Nacional though, so that doesn't bode well. Although even if he does have a good win rate. And then we've got Hallgrimsson. He's another 4-4-2. He left Canada in 2026, a year at LA, and then he spent 5 years at Cincy. So 4-4-2 is the one that's coming up a lot. That's essentially what we're going to, probably going to focus on then in that regard. So defenders are overrated. All you need are box-to-box midfielders or wingers. We could do that, I reckon. How many wingers do we need? Would we go like double wingers, double box-to-box? Have these wingers on support so that, you know, like that they get overlapped by the deeper wingers. Can we get, I mean, Volantes are box-to-box midfielders, right? So we can have them overlapping the, something like that I think could work. I mean, that would be quite fun. I'm sure it would go awful. Zhao, welcome in. How you doing, my dude? How was your weekend? So Jinro, this is not going to be released publicly, I'm afraid. But there will be a YouTube series coming up relatively soon, which is focusing on how to make changes to skins for your own preference, as well as how to go about like building completely from scratch as well. So that's something that to hopefully look forward to. So YouTube can pause, rewind, speed up and more. See? Exactly. James is in. Welcome in. Lovely to see you, my dude. Love the Everton series. Please do one more year. Every good thing has to come to an end, I'm afraid, James. There are so many more stories to explore. So DM Basis, you know that bit on The Lion King where he's like, everywhere the light touches is our kingdom, everything the light touches. What about the shadowy place? That's beyond our borders. We must never go there, Simba. YouTube is the bit beyond our borders. I mean, it might be the bit beyond your borders, but it's the bit firmly in my heart. I love YouTube. Well, I like watching YouTube, and I'm grateful that YouTube allows me to upload my nonsense. There is plenty to dislike about YouTube as well. So Rowan's a 4-4-2 with DMs has been one of my go-to formations this FM, currently playing with Brighton, and your joint first at the moment. So this is another reason why the 4-4-2 does kind of tie in as well. Is right at the beginning, one of the very first formations we were using was the 4-4-2, the Unai Emery inspired one. There we go. We've got that much higher defensive line we spoke about earlier, that mid block. What it does have, what I really like about it in particular, is the way that we would have players tucking in. So we'd have the marking instructions on the fullbacks to get them even narrower, and both wingers on marking instructions. And generally speaking, when the attack was down their side, they would drop back into and almost create a back five. Almost. Not particular, you know, they're still wingers, they're not that great at it, but they'd be good for bodies in that respect. Whilst the winger on the other side wouldn't be quite as good at doing that, and that's fine because the ball was on the other side of play anyway. So that's kind of okay. So I do feel like we would probably end up going back towards where we started, but taking into account some of the things that we've got there. Now, do we have the right players for it? because this kind of would be the way round I'd probably want it. You'd want your Hernandez or your Navarro as your attacking player down the left-hand side. We could have a more creative player on this side, which is our Paulo Benato. Benato, I will skip through here. Paulo Benato has been brilliant, 2.76 expected assists. Other players haven't been finishing their chances, which has been a large part of the issue. We've got Nuama as well, who can play as a midfielder right, he's outperforming his XG and out-assisting his XA as well, which, you know, I feel like that would work nicely, which would mean I'd probably make you on support, him on attack. So that would work a little bit more. He's more in this area. He's more up the flanks. He's there as this guy drops deep. And that, I think, could work quite nicely. However, the only question I have now is what we do with our midfielders. So we've got a good ball player in Rocha. We've got players that like to drive forwards in Kari and Reinders. We've got someone like Kajuste who wants to kind of just run around like crazy, both in terms of ball winning and on the ball as well. So I don't necessarily have a half-back, and I don't want to put a defender there and run with only one real midfielder. So there is some consideration there. Sorry, let me catch up a little bit there. So Zerachul has redeemed a mini game. We will go and play that in a moment. Let me catch up with chat, and then let's pop on over to a round against the player. So John said, if you don't get the 3 points today, might as well pack it in for these qualifiers. But no, Lewandowski is a big boost, absolutely. So Draw, you know that in the old version of 97-98, Luis Enrique was one of the only two players who could play in any position on the pitch. It's funny that you should say that. I almost feel like Crodmo might have paid you to say that, as that was the thing he was talking about just the other day, whilst we were watching the Champions League final, I think, in fact. The Quers, I don't think Knutson can calm down. Berdeglimt haven't made any flashing signings in a while, but they still outplay the other Norwegian teams. It's amazing, because look at all those tendencies. How are the players not eternally confused? So Giles, great, that's brilliant to hear. I'm doing well as well. I'm doing well, thank you skipped the Crudmo part. It's not even worth mentioning. I do apologise. Crudmo is part of the furniture like an old sofa or woodworm. Very much like a woodworm. James, no one gives Everton any attention. Long-suffering Everton fan. I mean, well, we've got Everton fans over in the chat. Crudmo, who will be mentioned a lot because he likes to make sure he's mentioned a lot, is an Everton fan. And you've just got 5 years of attention. That's not bad going. Not bad going at all. Prometheus, welcome in. Did we start at AC Milan, or is this a journeyman? We did not start at AC Milan. We started at IFK Mariehamn in Finland, where we slowly built them up until we won the league the last 2 seasons. Felt that we got as far as we could go, so we stepped down, took over the Darmstadt job as they were in the relegation zone in the Zweite Bundesliga. Helped them survive the first season, got them promoted the second season, qualified for Europe, finished I think 7th or 6th, both years running in the Bundesliga, and once again decided that we now need to make it the next step up. So we stepped down and we've taken over the Milan job. We're just in the second season with Milan currently. Sajao wonders, is there any reason DMs are the meta and not central midfielders? I wonder if midfielder centrals are still worth using. So generally speaking, the game gives you a really, really good hint as to how to set up your system. If we look at the majority of their settings, to have that proper defensive cover, there are defensive midfielders in almost every formation. Almost, not all of them. The notable exception being the 4-4-2 there. I don't think it's in. There's at least one defensive midfielder in all the others, right? Yes. So it's a big hint, and the way that they've designed it, especially when they changed in recent years to putting defensive midfielders rather than central midfielders in things like the 4-2-3-1. So they're powerful because they are much more disciplined. They're better positioned in the defensive phase, which is the large driver behind it.
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Well, Ladislava, massive fan. Welcome in, sir. It has been a while, but it's wonderful to see you. That is 7 months. That is incredible, sir. Incredible. Lovely to see you. And as a result, I will not say anything about the result at the weekend. So it's all good. All good there. All good there. Yeah, lovely to see you. How have you been? It's great to see you. We are just about. Shall we head into that mini game, as we said? And I will probably miss some of your comments. I do apologise, but we're not going to get anywhere if I keep on trying to catch up. I'm so slow. So let's play around and guess the player. And if you haven't been in before, let me explain the rules. In a moment, you're about to see.
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh, Nevsky. Oh, Nevsky. In a moment, you're about to see Ray Hudson. You are an absolute gentleman. Thank you very much. That is 3 months with Prime as well. Very, very much appreciated. So, shall we... where were we? Yes, you're about to see 4 pictures of a player's profile from FM24, one after the other. You're going to see the positions they play. You're going to see the attributes and traits. You're going to see the coach report. And you're going to see the clubs they played for. Your job is to guess who that player is. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. The more points you get, the higher up the scoreboard. Nice and simple, right? These are players from the default FM24 database at the beginning of the game, just to be mindful. So let's pop on over and see how it is, and we will catch up as much as I possibly can with some of the chat. I did see there was a little bit of stuff about Raskin, Villa's new midfielder Raskin, right? So you saw Doku described last night as Demarai Gray with a better agent. Oof, that is probably fair though. That is probably fair. We have some guesses coming in. Guesses for Cucurella, DeMarco, Hernandez, Zinchenko, Vodovic, Grimaldo, Shaw, Digne, Cucurella, Gaia, Cambiasso, Cucurella, Nuno Mendes, DeMarco. All fabulous guesses. All fabulous guesses. Balde as well. Shall we move on to the next clue though, whilst I catch up and, you know, I don't want you to get too many opportunities to guess at 5 points. Look at these attributes. Look at these attributes. Aren't they there? So Jake Vez says, try to pitch in, save your stats turn, but it didn't stick. I'm sorry. John says PC did indeed crash. How frustrating. Hopefully it gets better. So we've got some more guesses coming in. We've got Ain't Nori, we've got Yilmaz, we've got Robertson, we've got Munoz, we've got Roberto Carlos, we've got Nuno Mendes, we've got Kirkis, we've got Grimaldo, we've got Moreno, we've got Alva, we've got Hernandez, Alva, Davis, Dallo, Semedo. There are some fabulous guesses in there. There are some right backs that have creeped their way in, but Mario Rui as well, Benjamin Mendy. Now, I have been a little bit unfair to you because we do have a correct answer already, but because I was so far behind, I wanted to extend it a little bit, like the cheating bastard that I am, because we do have only one person has got it so far. So we can rule out Cucurella, who's been guessed a number of times. We can rule out Grimaldo. We can rule out DeMarco. Who else can we rule out? I think I've seen 2 Zinchenko's. We can rule out Zinchenko. We can rule out Ain't Nori as well. Which means we've still got a whole damn load of players. It could be Robertson. It could be Roberto Carlos. It won't be Semedo, unfortunately. Could it be Balde, says Javits? Well, this is a player in La Liga. But it's a player at Valencia. It is 5 points, making its way to Zerachol, who correctly got Jose Gaia. Sensational work, sir. Sensational. Oh, it's Gaia, says Jack. Indeed, that was the so close. The applause coming in now from Medical Car, from G&G, from Blue Lions. Damn, says Yiga. Indeed. Joe forgot how good he is. He's a brilliant player, isn't he? Proper wingback. Exactly. I remember having him, I think, in...
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh, Nick, bless you very much. That is 6 months as well. You are an absolute star. It is much appreciated. Yeah, I think I signed Guy for Chelsea in one of the Moneyball clinics. I had him at Man United in an old FM a few years ago as well. Always been exceptional for me. I love Jose Gaia. Right, so here we are with the tactic. Now, this is what we were using before, but we do want to make those changes that we were talking about earlier. So I do want to go up to a higher press. I want to take off, get stuck in. I want to step up more. I am going to trap outside and invite crosses because we are good in the air. And we've got the markings instructions that we were talking about on these guys here. The question is what to do with the other roles. I'm thinking, potentially, I'm not absolutely certain, but I'm thinking that because we don't have a trequartista anymore, we pop him in as a deep line playmaker. That will be Rocha. And we will ask him to take more risks. And then alongside him, we will have the defensive midfielder just completely and utterly neutral. So they have the traits, they'll be allowed to get forwards, but otherwise, do I though? Right, let's push this into where they are when we're in possession, right? So when we're in possession, I really want that. Okay, so if I want that, the winger, absolutely fine. Fullback attack, absolutely fine. Inverted winger, absolutely fine. Let me get those marking on there. So Mark is on the left, needs to mark the attacking midfielder right spot. You need to mark the striker right, centre right spot. So that's that fine. But when we're in this 3, I actually want this guy to be the deeper player, this one to be a little bit higher, and this guy from the fullback would be a little bit higher. So it should actually be the other way round. I wonder if we're doing that. Now, I could make that a deep line playmaker. That is on his wrong. Yeah, let's try that. So let's go defensive midfielder support here. No instructions. Deep line player maker to take more risks. Now, Rocha is left-footed, but he's a good player, so hopefully he can deal with that either way. I do prefer the poacher to be central, because even as a poacher, when they're on the channel spots, they do find themselves drifting out wide more often than we like. So I'll have a deep line forward here, and we'll keep the poacher offset like that, I think. I think that's what we're going to go with. And so RJ, you're talking about Doku and how I was less mad about him yesterday, probably because he played on the right wing more as a winger. That's got to be the trick, evidently. So you get suggested Segundo on support, one deep line playmaker on support or defend. I hate the Segundo Volante. They lose the ball so much. So much. So Rowan plays with a deep line player playmaker on support and a defensive midfielder on support, but with an inverted fullback at right back. Indeed, I don't want inverted. I want the 2-3-5 shape personally. RJ likes the ball-winning midfielder defender with a regista combo. I'm not averse to a regista. I'm not averse to a regista, that's for sure. A la Gattuso and Perlo. But yeah, I think that I want... So there is the thought of, like, the halfback will make a 3 initially and then step forwards, which is possible. But I'm not so keen on that. I kind of like the guys on the outside to kind of just be vanilla. That is the thing that I like, is they do anything but nothing, but they do everything but nothing, if that kind of makes sense. So Prometheus is using a defensive midfield support and roaming playmaker. Is that something that can work? We are not going with a defensive midfielder support and roaming playmaker. Thank you, though, Prometheus. That's what we have been using at various points during the course of this. It hasn't been great for us. But we are looking to basically try and move back to what we were looking at before. So how much attention do you pay to certain tactical details, like left-footed centre-back on the left or an inside forward? Well, you can hear me talking about it at the moment. I do like players on sides that make sense. So if you're cutting in, this is going to be Benato. He's right-footed. I do like that. I do generally prefer, like, dropping strikers, I prefer to be on their strong foot side. So I'm going to be playing Cole Palmer here. He's left-footed, which is less than ideal. I would generally prefer a right-footer because when they drop, they can then drive into the channels. And I do normally prefer the correct-footed wingers, but we're going to have a left-footer here as well. So, you know, it does matter, but also not that important. Right, okay, Johnson would like us to see how Mervila and his marvellous hair is getting on. Let's see how Constant Mervila is doing. He's still in Finland. Okay. I've been doing stuff with skins recently, so to help me with the periods in between where I have to reload the skin a lot, I have removed the config files from all the staging packs and the face packs and stuff, just because it makes a significant difference to loading time. And I was doing that right up before the stream as well. But we can take a look at how his career's been, because he had that little spell right at the beginning, I'm sure, where he was playing. Maybe we played Javaskala in the cup, but when he went back to Hacker, really struggled to get into the first team. Dropped down to the Ikonen with Karpa on loan for season. Did quite well. 6.91 rating, 15 starts is pretty solid. Again, back on the fringes at Hacker. And again, he's finally got his move to Japs on loan. Played regularly, 7.08. Granted, down in the third division is quite a drop. Back to Hacker on the fringes. Now back in the first division where he's been playing regularly. And it's not been quite so good. Not quite so good there for him. Now 38 valued at just 4.5k to 45k. And he's winning his tackles. Headers isn't great. He loses the ball and considering he's not on it much. Yeah. All right. I mean, not as good as I would have hoped. Not as good as I would have hoped, unfortunately. So, Krez, do your vitals stay stable when you're without a Tricoti stuff? Possibly. So, Lad Savamasi wants a good mid-table top half League One club suggestions. Surely it's Strasbourg, right? Proper Strasbourg, right? It's got to be. Respect the best team in League. Oh, okay, there you've already mentioned that. Rocha will stay long pass while the right winger on attack makes runs. Indeed. Now, what does happen? So with a left footer in the deep line playmaker position here, if he's trying to play that ball down the side, the curve is going to take it out of play, but it can take it into his path if Nuama stays wide enough. It means that when he's playing it out to this side, and the player who's meant to be wide is going to be the fullback, it's going to be bending and hopefully staying in, but you've got a player coming from deep. So I much prefer the angles from this side, generally speaking, and then an easy pass forward. With him playing from deep, you're looking at more of a pass like that rather than a long pass. But they're minor details, right? Minor details. Sergio, haven't played it on FM since Makaleli was there. My word, how long ago was that? Thinking about it. Rennes produced Dembele, Chouameni, didn't they? Camavinga. There we go. Sergio goes for anchor and deep line playmaker. Deep line playmaker and Volante. Sergio needs a place to put his 33-year-old guys with 20 tackling up front. Turn them into a pressing forward. So Necrosis likes a pressing forward. Yeah, he's gone for, see, there you go. Up front, pressing from the back. Exactly that. Yes, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is one of our big signings. He's did all right at Eindhoven. As a player that has good finishing, good balance and agility, was quite a nice fit for the false nine type thing that we're doing. So he's meant to be in as a striker, but not as a goal scoring striker. And so he's going to play as the deep line forward. Also, someone needs to explain pizza pasta to me. It's just a name redeem. Just a name redeem. Does a winger on the wrong side still work? Yes, it does, James. Absolutely. DM base. There's also Anita Hammer, Donna Kebab, Pineapple Pizza. Exactly. There's Bjorn Rod. We've got HJ Bockers. We've got Hale End. We've got a lot of fine and fabulous names bouncing around. Indeed, don't forget HJ Bockers. Perfect. Medical Car Pizza Pasta is your player, named because of the obvious Italian-based reasons. Exactly. Zati Zooks wants an attacking midfielder attack. It's really good in the setup. Adrian wants to see the club's info page. I mean, what are you looking for on the club's info page, Adrian? It's AC Milan. They play in Milan. they're at the Comunale Milano Stadium, allegedly. Founded in 1899. They're in the Serie A. They quite like Georgia Lenakena, who we sold to Barcelona for 75 million euros. Definitely under his valuation there. So yeah, this is what I think we're going to be going with, so that we get that 2-3 shape. We're going kind of back to our roots a little bit. Out of possession, we are going to be putting more pressure. We're going to focus a lot more on applying pressure than we are on tackling in our more settled defensive shape. In transition, this is what we were using with Mariaham. I'm going to stick with this. I think that's absolutely fine. In possession, I am going to take most things off. I'm actually going to play narrower, because we don't really have the target forward type players. So trying to focus down the wings and cross it into the box isn't going to be that impactful. So I'm thinking something along the lines of that, which would mean that we possibly will be in the market for someone to play as that poacher come December. So that's the thoughts. Whether we will revert back to something very, very quickly, I don't know. So Johnson likes double DMs, indeed. Boo meta. You said that. Thank you for saying it, Nick. So we want RJ wants to rename Theo to Baguette Fromage. Then we should. Well, if we have a French regen, absolutely. John, so what that kind of makes me want to move away from it in my current save. Certainly, the double defensive midfielder on support is a feature of a lot of the top formations. I think, to be fair, so a lot of the features of the top formations is two defensive midfielders on some kind of support duty rather than a defensive duty. Plain DMs have been favoured because they're free, so you can put dribbles more on some of them. You can put tackle harder. You've got a lot more reign without some of the hard-coded instructions in there. But I don't think that the double defensive midfielder on support is as integral as a number of the other roles within the systems that tend to be key. So I think the things that do make a significant difference is double fullbacks on attack with cut inside with ball, sit narrower. Those kind of things stop them from running into blind alleys down the wings, which can be a significant area where you lose the ball. The double inside forwards, the hold up ball, that they're a significant impact. And the two strikers on attack duty, if you're playing, say, a 4-2-4, is particularly powerful. Not a single player in the world top 50. Well, there's 50 players in the top 50. Not a single one of them is ours, which is probably not a surprise at all. But familiar faces: Mbappe, Endrick, Ferguson, Haaland. And then we've got some Real Madrid youngster, Olivio São Miguel, an inverted wingback valued at 206 million euros. Maybe we'd like a bit of Patrick Van Dommelen, the 325 million rated advanced forward, who scores less than one goal, 0.5 goals per game. Seems a little overrated. Or maybe Aymar Blanco, an advanced playmaker. He doesn't look too bad. 190 million is quite crazy money though. Crazy money. So let's have our master. Is that proper Chelsea Christian Pulisic in the favoured personnel tab? Of course it is. AC Milan legend. So Adrian, you're new at the game. When you look at YouTube at videos, I see that people have the facility stars that are showing for all the clubs, but mine shows differently. So Adrian, if you're using the default skin, it won't be there, and it's not going to necessarily be on every skin out there. I don't put the facilities on here because I don't think it's the kind of thing that, because then you can skip through loads of other clubs, and that's not the kind of information I wouldn't know how Napoli's facilities are rated more than just a general tag. So we've got superb, we've got great, rather than a star rating. So it is a feature of skins. You can check them out. I think something like the WTCS Gold, which is a fantastic skin, includes star ratings. I think Tato does as well. Might be a number rating on Tato, actually. But that's how you would, generally speaking, be able to get access to that information. So Nick says, just use what you like. Exactly. You can give them different instructions to make them not do the exact same. With the Mustermann iconic skin, you can see their archetype. Exactly. So you like one playmaker, so DLP on defend, and one more attacking dude, so a Volante on attack. Fine combination. So I hate Volantes. They just give the ball away too much. But it is annoying that they're like, if you want a defensive midfielder to get forwards, it's that or a roaming playmaker. And so Volante is kind of the only legitimate option unless you've got a proper ball hog type player. As Zeratul, we need an old goat. Shouldn't someone like Dovbik be around still? Hopefully, we will certainly take a look once we come to December. Oh, friendly time. Browse. Let's make sure we're getting our players that need fitness some game time. You need to play. Anita Hammer can get 45 minutes. Bockers can get 90. Everything's reacting very, very slowly. 60 minutes for Isaac. Everyone else is full health. That should be all right. Should be good to go. Lol Van Dommelen, that's my neighbour's son, I guess. That would be quite incredible. That would be quite incredible. What's the story there? RJ, were there any big transfers on the deadline day, by the way? In this save or in real life for the weird little World Cup one? Have City completed the signing of Cherki? I did see that was like only 35 million, which is crazy. Crazy. I suppose, well, no. The problem with Cherki is he's technically phenomenal. He can change a game. He's a real impact player, but he doesn't have, say, the decision-making ability of De Bruyne or Wirtz. He's inconsistent in the final third, and so actually, I suppose in some respects, maybe the fact that he is maybe around 35 million isn't unreasonable. Yeah, I thought he'd probably go for a little bit higher, but not much. Yeah, KDB did need replacing, probably only about a year ago, I'd say. Zeratul, how many matches did he play last year? Like 15. Is that Cherki? John Sir, I just generally don't like using meta stuff. Also don't like using the same player roles all the time, and actively avoid sending players I've signed in previous saves. Exactly. So Quez, is it hard to remove stars from players and skins, including the League X level line? It's not necessarily. It can be something, well, indirectly, it will be covered in that upcoming series. More about how to get the stars, but then if you know where the stars are, you know how to delete them. The easiest way to remove the stars and the stars alone is to replace the graphics. So you'd need the resource archiver, you'd need to extract SI toolkit, and then you need to go into that to find the graphics file for the stars. And then you'd create that yourself, just a blank graphic. That's like the easiest way of doing it without having to go through loads and loads of code, finding it, removing it, and so forth. But if you want to remove the text as well, you'll want to go through you'd want to rake through the code. Generally speaking though, things have IDs. So the ID for current ability is capital C, capital A, lowercase I, lowercase c, kike. And for potential, it's past. I think that's got a capital A and a capital S. So you can just search those strings in quote marks and find which files they're in, which is generally quite an easy way to roughly find where things are and then edit the stuff yourself. But it does take some knowledge, for sure. So, right, Lazio coming up. They've jumped up to 11th. They won their game in hand. But this is a game we need to win. So it's always going to be a good sign when we go into it with a tactic that we've we've essentially fleshed out on theory rather than on any testing. So I'm sure it'll go well. So Zerschel, he had 40 matches, 2,400 minutes. That's, I mean, what? So that's an average of, why can't I do maths? Is that an average of 40 minutes per game? Okay, so a lot of substitute appearances. That makes sense. Oh, Ulems is in. Welcome in, my dude. Lovely to see you. How are you? I'm doing well. Johnson's off to watch the Finland match now. Good luck. Good luck. Lansav, the Chelsea Twitter briefs in this mini window were hilarious. Aren't you signing everyone again and again? Tommaso says, as much as I love Wirtz, I'd rather buy Cherky for 35 million than the German for 120 million. I get that. I think the fees are reflective of the fact that Wirtz does look to be a generational player. And I would argue that it's difficult to put a price on generational players. Like you can get in a world where I'm sorry, Ladislav, where Enzo Fernandez costs 100 million, 120 million for Wirtz is a bargain. But it's still a crazy amount of money, right? Angel, so he's in the last year of his contract. Now that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Welcome in for News 12, by the way. Thank you very much for the follow. RJ, yes, Job is now at Dortmund. Job is doing his best to separate himself from brother and forge his own path by following his footsteps. So what's the hardest thing for you when setting up a new team? Time, Venus. Time. Quadmo, 60 minutes per game. Indeed. 40 by, yes, 60 minutes. I did 60 games. I multiplied 6 in my head. That's where I made the mistake. Because I'm an idiot. Zafari, you got any scouting tips, my friend? First time watching the stream. Delegate. Literally as simple as that. Delegate. They will find you players. You can pop over to the channel as well. So we talk a lot about using a data-led approach. Is that a command? I might have disabled that command. I have indeed, because I've got this one instead. So yeah, if you head on over to YouTube, there's a lot of focus on using data and how players perform to then inform your scouting decisions, which is the way that I play. I find is, generally speaking, a more successful way of approaching it. Right, we've got a break coming up just in time for the game. So we'll pop that break on, we'll come back and we'll actually play a game of Football Manager. How about that, eh? See you in about 3 or 4 minutes. And we're back. Let's head into a game. I'm sorry, dear Bezos. We're going to actually head into a game. It's shocking, I know. Exactly as Quez says, like meeting your personal trainer and then actually having to do shit. It's nonsense, isn't it? But the good news is that the first hour of the stream has involved no questioning my life decisions as we lose again. The next 2 hours, however, I'm not feeling quite as confident on. That's for sure. Kane's already scored. Bloody hell. You mean England might actually play better than they did against Andorra? My word, because that was a dull game the other day. Evidently, I'd chosen the wrong one to watch and the wrong one to stream during. I mean, how long's was it a 7:45 kickoff? Fair enough. Right, early exchanges. Nothing is happening. No XG data. It is very, very even so far. Let's give a little bit of a demand more. There's a shot. Well, hey, unfortunately it's for Lazio, though. We do have a throw-in. Navarro's going to take it, gets it back. Going to send that in. He does indeed. Nuama rises. Boom!
Milan, Rossoneri. Ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan, Rossoneri. They can't take that away from me.
Oliver's Weitschen goal? It is indeed. Interesting. I can't imagine him being a Serie A quality goalkeeper. I mean, I don't know how he develops in this game, but fair enough. Right, Navarro sends it again. Nuama as the target once more. Can't get there. Is it Gathers? Navarro inside to Kari. Tari can same. Yeah, he's not a...
Milan, Rossoneri. Ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan, Rossoneri. Can't take that away from me.
So I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
2 shots, 2 goals. Yay! At least it's a chance for us to experience what it's like to win games undeserved. I mean, we haven't won it. There's a whole half left to go. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But right, so we picked up in the second half, so we did shout around the 22nd minute, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, it would have been around this period. We did see an immediate response, so the shout seemed to have been effective, and then once that was no longer in effect, it kind of went back in Lazio's favour, so that's something to be mindful
When
of.
the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
I love when he says thank you at the end. It's such a lovely little touch that, you know, it's like, I'm going to say some insane shit that, you know, kind of does make sense and is perfectly reasonable. But I'm then going to just sign off. It's nice touch. Right, let's have a look to see what's going on from a possession point of view. Palmer's had a lot of the ball as the deep lying forward. That's cool. He's also lost the ball a lot. 12 lost possessions from 30 touches. It's 40%, isn't it, roughly? No, it's not. It's about yeah, no, it is 40%. 40% is high. In fact, it seems to be the only one where I would say there are concerns about. I mean, 1 in 5 isn't all that bad. So that's a concern there. Let's have a look. We're seeing, right, Alex Valler's getting a lot of the ball, is losing the ball a lot, as is Brennan Johnson. So I'm quite happy to encourage them to have the ball. We are seeing Mario Gila getting a lot of time on the ball though. So that's probably the other area we'll look at. See if we can pressure Gila, because he's getting a lot of time on the ball. He's on the left-hand side, which would be, well, he's on the right-hand side, which is our left-hand side. So we're going to ask Isaac to specifically pay attention. Where is Gila? There he is. See if we can do that there. Take more risks is part of the So let's pop him
It's
in
not the
there.
statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh, Leo, bless you kindly. That is 2 months with your Prime. Thank you very much. And also welcome in Benny. It's lovely to see you, my dude. How are you? How was your weekend? We also have Paul from Poland, the Guinness record holder in Football Manager. How are you doing, Paul? How is that save going? I can't remember which Football Manager it is, but it's a crazy save, isn't it? An absolutely crazy long time you've been going. I see the posts up. I think you update quite regularly over on Facebook. Incredible stuff. As Shigit says, exactly. He's a proper Football Manager celebrity is in. It's lovely to see you, my dude. If you thought it was going to be seagulls squawking, I'm afraid not. It is not. It is the legend that is Mr. Cantona. Right, let's go with those changes for the second half. I should have probably done ease off tackles on Emirusuki as well. Just going to keep an eye on the momentum. See if we get any swings in Lazio's favour. It's kind of all right at the moment. Really, we can't wait to deal with it until it's gone over. There we go. Right, that's the point we go for.
Fucking, do I not like that?
Beautiful DM bases. Fuck it. Do I not like that? Again, it's the little fuck it that makes it so amazing. Bernatto with the cross, cut out by Gila. He goes all the way back to Zyke. Gets it clear. Zanotti there. Now Palmer finds Nuama. Nuama gets the cross in, surely, and Andreas Isak with his first goal of the season.
Milan, it was an airy. Ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan, it was an airy. I can't take that away from me.
Cool. That's much better. Right, let's pause this. Nuama is knackered, so he's going to come off. We're going to replace him with Carmona, but he's no longer called Carmona. He's called Pineapple Pizza. And we're going to bring off Rocha because of his booking, so that can be Reinders on. We'll have Reinders in the more energetic role, I feel. And will we just drop that tempo a little bit? Try and see out the game now at 3-0, which should hopefully be nice. But Benny, shit weekend. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my dude. Kvares, we are sinking. Hello, this is the German Coast Guard. What are you thinking about? We are thinking. We are thinking indeed. Right. As I look to make the next set of changes, maybe we're about to concede, so maybe we're a little bit late to react there, but let's see. Actually, we're going to bring off Kari as well. Pizza Pasta can pass. I think Pizza Pasta's the one with okay passing. He is indeed. So we'll pop him into that spot there. We will also bring off Bernatto for Kerim. And for the numbers game, we'll bring on Anita Hammer, formerly known as Tommaso Profundi. Right, Ravella with the corner, sends it into the near post. Kiwa with the header onto the roof of the net. In the luck modifier we trust, indeed. I wasn't sure if that's what he said at the start. It is. I've listened to it a number of times now before deciding whether to keep it in or not. A solid win. Not brilliant. Like only 11 shots generated, so 3-0 is very, very flattering. And obviously that Isaac tap in from 1 yard out is going to be almost a whole 1xG in its own right. So there's a lot to still improve, but that is the joy of the luck modifier swinging in our favour for the time being, it seems. That said, Monterisi is now going to be out for 5 days, so that injury had to come in somewhere between the 89th minute and the end of the game. So talk of luck modifier. So Benny, Friday the Oilers lost game 2, Phillies lost. Saturday Phillies lost. You lost your 106 game unbeaten streak in FM24. Oh, that's not good. Sunday, Phillies lost. My new FM23 save is off to a rocky start. a win, a draw and a defeat in the league. Went out in the FA Cup immediately in the second round to a lower league side at home on a 90th minute goal. Team cohesion is great, but the players don't back me. And yesterday Oilers lost game 3. That is a pretty rough weekend, but it can only get better from here, right? Or something along those lines. That's what they try and convince us. Let's get these guys rested up. Next game away against Valencia, who are in a reasonably decent spot in the Champions League right now. We do need to get some wins in these. We've got 4 games remaining. Porto, Valencia, Sporting, Ajax. The next 2 are away, the final 2 are at home. We would feel like we would want to pick up at least 4 points from those final 2 home games, which would be enough to get us on 13 points. Probably going to see us, see us through to the next round. But I think we'd want around 16 points to get the bye. Let's see if we can sort out this contract for Banato. $100k. Yeah, it broke down last time because we tried under 100 and even at 95 he wasn't willing to accept. But I'm happy just to go straight out there. 100k, decent amount for a very, very good player. And you have a sty in your eye today. Oh God, it is all happening. All happening. Andrea, what happened to Caprile? Newcastle bid 54 million euros plus a further 20 million after 20 games. So he was sold quite happily. Very, very happy to sell him for that much. So it's a nice healthy profit. I think he's been their starter as well from what I recall. Let me just check here. So Caprile has started a decent amount of games, 9 games in the league. So we should get that extra 20 million this season as well, which will be very nice. It's the French lady refereeing in the England game. I don't know who the French lady is. I'll be honest. I assume that's a famous French female ref, as opposed to just a random, it's not Edith Piaf. Is it Edith Piaf? That would be a shock. So the Phillies have lost 10 of their last 12 and they play today. So I don't know if it's going to be better. Well, I mean, surely at this point there's no expectation, right? If you know they're going to lose, then it's fine. I mean, I say that as a Browns fan. The only time I've been able to see the Browns live, being that I live in England, was during their 0-16 season. I've told this story many times before, but I started following the Browns in 2006, just before the draft. With our first round pick, we selected Joe Thomas, the wonderful Joe Thomas, and he played 10,363 straight snaps from the moment he joined the team up until a game against the Titans. I think it wasn't Griffiths, was it? Was it Michael Griffiths? I can't remember who it was, but Joe Thomas's arm got jammed, broke his elbow. One single week before the Browns game in England. So the player that was quite literally symbolic of my entire fandom. The thing that I was looking forward to more than anything else was seeing Joe Thomas play in the flesh. And 1 week before the penultimate game, he was injured and retired. And yeah, I still follow them. Granted, that's not the Browns' fault that he got injured at that particular moment. You know what I mean. So Stephanie Frapper. Oh, okay, yes, I do recognise that name indeed. There you go. The Crares lost a cup final with 1 goal and missed out on European football with 1 point. Ooh, oh, that is rotten too. Right, Bjorn Rod comes in for Monterisi. Our next game is away against Inter. So we are naturally going to rotate some players with that in mind. That's going to include Theo coming in. We're going to give Mosconi the start up front, Kerem out on the wing. I think we stick with Nuama because of the number of options we've got in the midfield spots. However, we're going to bring Reinders in for Rocha. I need to hammer in for Zanotti. I think something like that should be okay. Hopefully. So they have the third highest payroll. That, I mean, the expectation is they win. I mean, that sounds double, but once you've got the knowledge that they've lost 10 of their last 12, once you recognise that form says they're probably not going to win. I mean, you might want them to win, but you're kind of, the writing's on the wall, surely. Right, this game, I don't
Honestly,
mind too much
I will
if
love
we
it
lose.
if we beat them. Love it.
Oh, wonderful timing, RJ. As I say, I don't mind if we lose. Incredible. Although I don't want us to lose by just fapping around on the ball like that. That's okay. Kerem comes back, does the defensive work. And here we go, all the way back to the keeper. He's gonna spank it long. Mosconi is never gonna win that header. That's fine. Right, Guerra, down the right. No one's getting near him. No one's getting near him. He sends the cross in. Savio's the target. Bufundi gets there. Nuama just spanks it away. Only as far as Diaz. Into Milan now. Guerra. He started the move. He finds Savio. It's a great ball through, but he's offside. And we're all right. So, which is brutal. Watching the Oilers in their third trip to the final since you've been a fan. Lost the first two in Game 7. That is rotten. Your clubs are 2-10 in the final so far. Only the 2008 Phillies and 2023 West Ham have done me any sort of happiness. I feel you there. I feel you there, man. I mean, as a Villa fan, I was very, very fortunate. We won Cup in 1994 and 1996. As a Cavs fan, we've won the championship once. And that is it for all my sporting teams. Oh, apart from Greece winning the Euros. That counts for something. In all my life, in 40 years, that's 4 trophies. I did have the Johnny Manziel era. Indeed, we did. Money Manziel. Oh, you gotta love Johnny football. Right, we've been a little bit pap. We've been very pap. Let's try and get more of the ball. So, to get more of the ball, let's try and pass shorter. Just see if that helps us a little bit. I mean, as I said, don't really mind too much if we lose this, but I would like us to not be shit. Like that, you know. Just pass it to an extent where players can actually get the ball. That's better. Aktoglu, though, no support. That's Theo running ahead. That's fine. That's what he's meant to do. And now we've got both of them just standing in the same spot. Didn't I ask him to sit narrower? I didn't. Let's do that. Palmer now. Hammer loses out and Guerra comes away with it. Guerra, the goal scorer. He's the catalyst. Guerra to make it 2 and he fires wide. Bless him. Bless him. Gonzalo asks about the rounds. Do you think too many quarterbacks are not quarterbacks at all? Or are you hoping for Shadur? Mosconi just hits the post. And it wasn't offside either. That was a good chance. I quite like Gabriel. I think Flacco is serviceable as well. And then obviously we've got Shadur there. No hoping, like, Deshaun Watson isn't going to be fit this season. So we're always going to need to have loads. The trade for Pickett, I mean, it was like a 6th round pick. It's a waste, but not the worst in the world. I don't expect anything from this season. We've got so much money tied up in the contract of Deshaun Watson that I expect that this season is going to be about potentially putting us in a position to get the 1st round pick again. So that doesn't bother me too much. Obviously, I'd love us to be able to compete. I just don't think it's going to happen. Is this just because he's tired? Theo's yellow card. We'll bring on Bockers. Bring on Benato behind Mosconi. Yeah, let's just see if we can carry on See how we pick up in the second half. See if we respond. So, Kvez, that's like what you went to see a Liverpool game and Klopp had surgery the day. Oh, no. I think that's one of the 2 times he was not present for a game. The other time was because of the Club World Cup overlapping with the FA. I was going to say a crazy situation. It does seem a little unfair that they wouldn't move games around. I get it, but also, like, they squeezed so many games into the calendar. They could have found like a week to play 4 games in 4 days or something. As Nuama equalises.
Milan, it was an ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan, it was an they can't take that away from me.
Oh God, Benny, when the Cavs won, that it's K-Love's defense on that last possession. I mean, I know that all the talk is about Kyrie, and Kyrie's not just scoring the winner, but also his defense there. But it was K-Love shutting it down right at the end before the switch out. I was just that was a moment of beauty, absolute elation. Made the finals, like so many finals that I've stayed up to watch, where we've fallen short, and like generally speaking, quite a lot of them have been over nice and quickly as well. So that's been quite thankful as someone who, you know, has to watch at 1 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, that was crazy. Leo, you've only ever seen Leicester win something. Carolina Panthers were good for 1 year with Cam Newton. That year, that was a brutal Super Bowl as well. Can't imagine that was fun watching. But watching Leicester win the league and the FA Cup is pretty damn good going. Pretty good going. Right. I've got to stop paying attention to chat because I don't make substitutions, and now all my players are tired and we're not getting rotation. I need to learn how to multitask. But let's face it, I haven't learned how to multitask doing this for 6 months. I'm never going to learn, am I? Let's be fair. Right, could you stay on for Rocha? And Nuama spared. Get them 10 minutes of extra rest before the Inter Milan game. Gordon's just missed an open goal. Oh dear, bless him. Bless him. Here's the cross. Savio's the target with the header just over the bar. Right, let's see if we can give some encouragement into the last 5 minutes. Here's a throw-in. Right, pineapple pizza. Plays it back. Kajuste. The substitutes combining. So we go all the way back to Noah Atabulo. There's no real options, just players all converging on one another, and then we give the ball away because there were no options to pass. So I can't blame Rod too much for that. In fact, let's look at this. So what do we have going on here? That is centre-back, centre-back. That's the deep-lying playmaker. That's the inverted wing-back. That's the defensive midfielder. That's the attacking midfielder. That's the poacher. There's the fullback. There's the inverted winger. So Hammer is coming in far too aggressively to stand on there. Like, if he's inverting, at this stage, he should probably be around there. Bjorn Rod isn't facing the right way because the pass into Rangers is on, but he's just not facing that at all. Probably I would want Benato. Well, so if Profundi would be around here, then Benato's kind of okay in terms of spacing there. Bokkers, that's kind of alright. Akterkoglu I would prefer to be a little bit narrower, but that's not criminal. Actually, I will blame Rod as well. That is an awful pass. An awful, awful pass. Yeah, stop listening to chat. It's only nonsense anyway. I mean, nonsense is my specialism, to be fair. The Quez, is Bjorn Rod real, a new gen or named by the audience? It is. You will be unsurprised to learn. It is a named new gen, courtesy of our fellow Norwegian. And that move results in our conceding the losing goal. I mean, we knew that was coming from that. We knew the highlight hadn't played out. Hasuki covers. Rod's tackle doesn't stick. We're slow to respond, but in that, you know, in a situation where the ball bounces around, there's always going to be someone that reacts the quickest. You hope it's your player. It wasn't. Yeah, we expected to lose, but that was a poor performance. So that's a little bit worrying, especially going into another away game now against Inter. I can't rest Rod. I need him for the Inter game. We will give him an extra day though. So my pickup from this is I'm not being impressed with Palmer further forwards. I don't feel like Akterkoglu is cutting inside enough. He's not sitting narrow enough. We will make sure that's added on. He's got marking responsibility to cover back, so no, they can't play as central midfielders, can they? I mean, Akterkoglu can play as a central midfielder. Banato can't. I'm going to just put Hamels on a full-back support. I didn't like how aggressively he came across. We'll ask him to sit now. But I expect that sit now is the difference between sitting here and like sitting here. We've seen that sit now on this side is the difference between being here or here. I'm expecting the same on the other side there. So that there and yep. So I want him to do the deep line playmakery stuff. Actually, we signed him to be a false nine. Let's try him as a false nine first in that two-man system before we then go to the attacking midfielder. So, okay, after keeping Hassie as manager, we're actually doing some things in the staff. Brought back Proto for the goalkeeper, Billier as assistant coach, and Edward Still as a coach. Now, I'm not familiar with Edward Still, but Silvio Proto and Lucas Billier is quite a combination there. The Suki's 115k. Oh, he wants like 180k, isn't he? That's why it's broken down every time. 135 to 165 is absolutely fine. It's that he wants clauses that like took him over 200 from what I remember. You don't get to choose that. You're not a star player. You're an important player at best. That's more manageable. We'll remove that. 160. We'll say 150. We'll say 150 again. Okay, I'm fine with that. Even though his performance hasn't been great, to be fair. Welcoming Gun by Marley. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. Andrews, did I see that Norway smashed Italy 3-0? I did indeed. And Antonio Nusa's goal was lovely as well. Now, there's something fishy there. It makes sense when the player is called Red Bear or Bear Red. Exactly. Matty Zucks, attacking midfielder in attack. That's not what I want to do. Thank you very much for the suggestion. But that's not what we're looking to do. Again, I know you might not have been able to see it in the chat on the side, but it is in the description. Don't need the suggestions, but thank you. So RJ, actually the first of the brothers to get a first team manager job in Charleroi before Will. There we go. That's quite a cool. Does he have the same thing where every time he's involved they ask him about Football Manager? Right, we're not going to use any of our players there. We need to keep them for the bench. We will focus on out of possession. So the quiz, as I said, we tried to make sure everyone is informed of this occasion. Exactly. They haven't had much to celebrate since the Vikings stopped raiding places. I mean, Norway has had some things to celebrate, right? What are notable moments in modern Norwegian history? I might be drawing a blank here. So Moen asked, what's your biggest feature wish for FM24? The biggest one has to be that it exists. So honestly, my biggest wish is that they actually strip things back. I would be very, very encouraged by the suggestions that there's going to be a split in and out of possession instructions, and like the roles and being able to do that. And I think that if that comes in, that would be brilliant. But I would be very keen for them to do what they said they were doing in their blog, which is to assess whether this feature is what they want, or whether it's still relevant, and actually maybe assess whether things are quite there. So I'd be happy for a slightly stripped back version if it means that we get a platform to progress on down the line. So yeah, but having a game would be very, very nice. So RJ, they were playing FM together before. See, there we go. It was not raiding, it was surprise field trips. I like that. Andreas, we smashed Italy, but could barely beat Estonia. That's Norway for sure. FMGG, they won Eurovision. That's fair. Modern Moments as oil, get rich, live happily ever after. I mean, I don't know if I don't want to dismiss your national achievement of having oil in the geographical region. I'm not sure if that counts as an achievement, but sure. 1-1. Senegal have equalised. Saar scored. Hilarious. Oh, that makes everything right. That was kind of the point. Yeah, indeed, Chris. Indeed, yes. Could we? But Eurovision definitely counts, right? Like, that's the kind of thing that you'll be telling your grandchildren. They'll be like, Granddaddy, Quiz, what was Norway like when you were a child? And you'll be like, well, we had oil and we had Eurovision. So Andreas wants to ask a football question. Oh, we don't do football questions here. Yeah, by all means, go ahead and shoot. Yeah, but Sweden beat us at that too. Bloody Sweden, always beating everyone at everything. I mean, actually, again, to be fair, that is what Sweden have as their modern history. You know, there's museums and there's Eurovision, and very beautiful people. A football quiz on this channel, exactly. Definitely can't be having any of that. Definitely can't be having any of that. Right, our next game away against Inter. I am not feeling even remotely confident. So Andreas asks, which 7 male players have won the English Premier League, the Champions League, and World Cup? Right, so I think off the top of our heads, we can immediately go towards those that have won the World Cup. So I would say Mark Schwarzer, Harry Kane, and Ali Dia, I think, because that's what I'm going for. So we've got some proper suggestions coming in. Henry, Fabregas, Stones won't have won the World Cup, that's for sure. Henry and Fabregas seem like very, very good guesses. So Henry is correct, says Andres. Marvellous. Maureen asks, do you think Greece winning 2004 Euro is more impressive than Leicester winning the league? No. I think that I think it's a bigger shock, Greece winning the Euro League. But I think that in just because the whole narrative playing in Portugal against Portugal, it was the coming of age, everything seemed to be like, with the way that Portugal got some favourable decisions against England as well, it seemed like everything was lining up for it, and I think that in that aspect it was more of a shock, kind of as a result of how short a tournament is, right? But I think that in terms of impressiveness, Leicester winning the league is far more impressive because it is a sustained effort. They were at the top, at the summit for basically the whole season. They were just consistently winning games all the way through. It was unexpected. Absolutely. It was like a proper legitimate shock. And it's a much more difficult feat to win a competition over 38 games than a knockout competition. Yeah, I think that there's that would be my answer, I think. You was thinking the Club World Cup, fair enough. Glenn Whelan would be great. Perez maybe. Okay, did he win the Champions League though? I guess that would have been the one that cuts him out there. So Davo asks, do you delegate every scouting responsibility? Usually, in a save, or like so Davo, we play without attributes here. I don't know if you have been in before. So I have set up the focuses this time round, but it's basically find as many players as you can, because we're going to filter down by the stats anyway. So in terms of like the scout's job isn't particularly important. It's just about as many players as possible. Right. Okay. Let's make these changes. Let me focus. Right. That's going to be Bonato back in. Nirama, Cole Palmer, Isaac, Kari, Washer, Navarro, Rod, Monterisi, Zanotti, Atabolo. Going to start on balanced mentality. He does have sit narrower. Going to look here. We are going to... Palmer is going to mark specifically Bove. So he's going to be the linchpin of that midfield. Camavinga's going to come forward. That's going to end up being largely Rocha's responsibility. Kari is going to focus on Cunha. And then let's head into the game. Mascherano's a good guess. Not Mascherano though. The Barthez for Man United. That sounds like a good guess. It is correct, as is PK. Alvarez, that's a fabulous guess. My word. Kante maybe. How many we got so far, Andres? How many we got so far? Have we got them all? Right. Where is Exact Revenge? Speak to you two. I trust you. Opposition instructions. We've already said that we want to put keep an eye on Cunha. Want to keep an eye on all of the forward players. Want to put pressure on Bove. So far, I haven't seen much pressing since we've changed to a high all-out press. We'll see how things go in the game so far. Early momentum for Inter. That Brazilian Chelsea, so Belletti, interesting. That's correct. Just one Spanish midfielder. So it's not Silva. It's not Pedro. Oh, no, Pedro is the last one. Excellent work. Excellent work, guys. Right, here comes Buonani. Plays it across to DeMarco. DeMarco is playing as an inverted wingback. Hits the post. Atabolo just walks away from it. Odd behaviour from Atabolo. So that's their first chance. We've had a half chance as well. Here's a free kick. DeMarco sends it in. Colwell's the target. Atabolo parries it away. Rod gets it clear. Another chance there now. So let's fire these guys up. Drop that passing directness, see if we can have a bit more control of the game. Just a little bit of control would be nice. Yeah, this isn't it, is it? This isn't it. I mean, I know that Lazio, Valencia, and well, Lazio weren't. They were like 11th when we played them. But we're getting very few highlights. We're on key. Here's Palmer from distance. It's a good save from Casaraghi. We have had some shots since we've changed the tactic, but I don't feel comfortable or excited. I think would probably be the best way of saying. So, John, sir, better press from Finland this time, which is one of the main two problems. The penalty that led to the goal was something that could happen to you in FM. I mean, all penalties are bullshit. All penalties are bullshit, right? So our shot from distance, that one, no. Carl Palmer, was it this one here? 0.01 XG. That shot was worth a highlight. these shots worth above 0.15 each weren't highlight worthy, which kind of gives a false impression. So we did improve towards the end there. So some good response, but still not great. We have to do more. Nuama has taken a knock, so he's going to come off. I think that means we're going to run with Pineapple Pizza up front. We'll put Palmer out wide. Martinez has come off, so let's make sure that we're marking up there. Kiergaard. I say we finished the half a little bit stronger, so I don't want to make any tweaks per se, but I do want to just keep an eye on things. Atabolo sends it long. Pineapple Pizza can't get there, but Isaac can. Isaac with a shot from distance, and that's wide. Comfortably wide. Kasaragi didn't have to react. Ah, ha, ha, we have a Brazilian Fury. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? How are you? The Tinkerman is back indeed. Why is it that when I press space to pause, it immediately goes to a highlight? Like it knows. And now I've got to wait for this highlight to end, because what's probably going to happen is they're going to score, which is going to change what we're about to do. Right, Benetto to Bove, to Camavinga, to DeMarco. Plays it to Belkir. Belkir feeds Kiergaard. It's a good save from Atabolo. Oof. Oof. So RG, have you played FM Mobile? I have not played FM Mobile. I'm not a keen user of my mobile phone. I'm old. I'm old, and I'm a Luddite. So my phone I use for messaging and phone calls, and that's about it. Right, Isaac can be replaced now. We're going to bring on Kerem. Going to swap these guys round. So put Benato up front. Going to bring on Theo as well because of the yellow card. And we're going to say, go and do something, Theo, and he's not going to respond. So that's fine. So Johnson, the Polish keeper, started dribbling the ball around his own box and eventually fouled one of our attackers. That sounds incredible. That sounds incredible. Right, here we go. Throw in for Inter. DeMarco cuts in, turns back all the way to Colwell. Ooh, okay, that's the press I wanted to see. Kerem feeds Pineapple Pizza. Pineapple Pizza goes it alone. Pineapple Pizza fires it at Kasaragi, who pushes it over. That was a big chance there. Big chance. Team Basis feels excited, but only because I know Krubmo's around. There's a completely different, a different type of excitement. That obviously excited by that. Archie, would I make a video on FM Mobile? I most definitely wouldn't, I'm afraid. But there are creators out there that do on mobile. I don't know any of them off the top of my head because it's essentially a different game. But I know that there are creators out there. Oh, we got away with that. Bjorn Rod is on a 7.10 despite that. Wow. Mosconi up front, Pineapple Pizza on the wing. Let's increase the tempo. So it's DeMarco is still alive. I mean, so's Theo. It's incredible. It's Cunha lines a free kick up in the 82nd minute. It's 20 yards out. It's a goal. It's not a goal. Atabolo just gets there. Oh. My theory is wrong. Okay, maybe that's why. My theory is that if you see like a lot of build up before the free kick is taken, including the free kick taker pointing at the ground, it's a goal. It wasn't a goal, but it did have a highlight thing attached to it. So maybe my theory holds. It doesn't. It's all just confirmation bias nonsense. Here's Zanotti into Benato. Rocha finds Mosconi, plays it across to Kerem. It's a bad pass, and that's surely the end of the game now. Last 10 seconds or so. Can Inter do anything right at the end? It's a long ball forwards on Mosconi's in behind. Mosconi in the dying embers. Oh, Moscone. Oh, Moscone. Well, okay, so we had 2 goals. We should have scored. Moscone should have scored. Pineapple Pizza should have scored. Both completely through on goal. They should have scored. Moritz Kjærgaard was put completely through on goal as well, by defender fanning around. Yeah, I'm not happy. I am not happy with that, lads, I'm afraid. What a prat. What a prat indeed. It's an excellent and underused word, most definitely. Right, so we have a mini game redeemed. So let's play a mini game. Oh, Pizza Pineapple vows to end his goal drought, does he? Well, why don't you start by scoring when through on goal, you tit? Right, so I can't exclude you entirely, but I can rest you for 3 days. The rest of the squad will get their normal 1 day's worth of rest. Yeah, and let's head on over. We're going to play a round of... No, we're not. We're going to play a round of bingo. Oh. What makes it better is you don't know how long it takes to create some of these mini games, because it has to have like a whole series of different images created in different places that trigger at different things, and yeah, now I've revealed those answers. That's one that can't even be used. Bollocks. Right, shall I explain bingo? Bingo, you've got a link over in your chat. Pop on in, you get yourselves a unique bingo card with 16 squares. Those squares will contain clubs, they will contain players, they'll contain leagues, they'll contain competitions. You then get a list of 60 players, one after another, 10 seconds on each one. You've got to work out if they match one of those squares. If they do, click on it. Once you click on it, you can't undo it. You can't put another player on that square. If they don't, click skip. Try and get bingo. As simple as that. We will give it another 90 seconds or so before heading in, whilst I sob uncontrollably at my professionalism once again, Angel, what camera is that in game? That's just the TV camera. Literally TV. Maximum zoom, probably minimum height. Generally tends to be the standard that I use. So the word Pratt solely reminds you of Goldbridge, so I dislike it for that reason. I try my best not to watch him, so thankfully I've never caught on to what's in his lexicon. Medical car, it needs pepperoni, then it'll start scoring. The solution was there all along, evidently, and now I want to order pizza. Gotta not think of that. Gotta not think of that. Yeah, I think that Villa 11 was too easy anyway. Indeed. So it's your favourite game right before the second half. Perfect. So yeah, I started missing 11. The answers were all revealed. You use another word for Goldbridge. It begins with C and it ends in a T. Is he ginger? I didn't realise that. I suppose it's kind of like a mousy brown, but I mean, if you're going to be calling him Carrot, who am I to judge, right? Right, let's start the game. So head on over to your browsers and your countdown will start in a moment. Goldbridge isn't even his real name. He isn't even a Man United fan. He's the Stephen Yaxley Lennon of punditry, right. There's some words at the bottom here. I don't really want to be reading that whilst I'm meant to be reading that. Just South America. Players from countries in CONMEBOL. Wow, just South America. That is quite incredible. I do need to pay attention to the actual answers here. No, I'm still focusing on the fact that there's just a whole continent. That seems quite wild to me. Premier League Golden Boot, UEFA Cup, Europa League winner, Copa America winner, Tottenham, Brazil and Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Messi, Milan, South America, Sevilla, Eredivisie, Roma, Turkey, managed by Emery. Okay. I think I've paid enough attention. I think I know what I've got. But I wasn't paying enough attention to press in time. Bonucci, we're going to skip. Raul Jimenez, I doubt has ever won the Premier League Golden Boot. Even Helguera we can play. Maxi Rodriguez at Atletico. Daniel Maldini at AC Milan. Sergio Aguero played with Messi. Kieran Trippier for Tottenham. Simon Kjaer for skip. Diego Godin and a skip. Callum Hudson-Odoi. I know he's played some interesting places, but I can't think of where. I don't know if Bobby Baggio has ever won the UEFA Cup, but I'm going to play it. Why not? Gregor Kerbal, we're going to skip there. Christian Kivu, played for Ajax. Daniel Van Boyten. Don't think he matches any of those. I'm probably going to be wrong there. Jovic, I'm going to let go. Robinho. Nangalan. What a haircut. Batistuta. What a player. What a haircut. Everything about Batistuta is great. Rui Patricio. As soon as I click on anything, I feel remarkably... I lose all confidence in everything ever. Is Demirel Turkish or German? I'm going with Turkish. Of course, it would be followed up by someone who is definitely Turkish. I should have known that was going to happen. Joe Cole, Paul Gascoigne, Kevin Danzo, Sabitzer. Oh, Sabitzer was at PSG, wasn't he, when Emery was there? So I could have done that one. Abandanzieri, Palacio, Isaj, Closer, Thiago Motta. Was he still at PSG at that point, or already retired? I'm playing it. Mbappe, Thiago Silva, Fernando Couto. Just need a Premier League striker that scored a lot of goals. I mean, like a lot of goals. Did Hasselbank ever get the Golden Boot? We're going for that. Salas, I'm a massive fan. Watches Goldbridge whenever United lose. Great entertainment. I just don't have the patience for it. I can't. It'd make me angry watching it, right? Brent de Cesare. Incredible. Crodmo with a bingo. Sensational work, sir. Sensational. A return to form indeed. Draw and Johnson just behind. Trevor Chalobah fan comes in. A sensational effort there as well. That's 14 correct. And then we've got Kivu, GNG, DMB and Fuller all currently tied in 5th. But there are still a couple of people left to finish. Will they stay in 5th point there? So Kevin Danzo is not German. Is he Austrian? That's the only one I got wrong. Wow. I doubt myself on a lot of things there. Some sensational work there. Johnson thought he was tweaking there for a moment when the name Aldair popped up. Apparently there's a real player named that as well, and not only my regen. Indeed, Aldair, a sensational Roma player in the 90s. I think in old Championship manager terms, he was a sweeper defender centre, from what I recall. maybe midfielder as well at some point. So 36, good going, RJ. Indeed, absolutely fabulous stuff. Being in 8th whilst only getting 3 wrong is maddening. Well, you're joint 5th because I don't count. And like, look at that, 3 minutes 30, 3 minutes 42, 3 minutes 42, all within roughly the same number of guesses as well. Crazy similarities. Archie, you came 16th. I mean, 16th isn't too bad. 16th isn't too bad at all. I certainly won't extend it. Nobody wants to see themselves at the bottom. So I understand. We've all had bad runs like that. Although, we're probably not going to see the results. We're not going to see the results. Or when we come back, we'll see the results. Because an ad is starting in 8 seconds. So I'll see you in 3 minutes. Oh, no, I pressed the wrong one. I'll see you in 3 minutes. And we're back. Well, hey. So Bernardo Silva hasn't got a Euros apparently, and Baggio World Cup missed by a few years there. Oh well. I mean, still joint 5th, 39 points at the end there. So Ladislav, I'm a massive fan. So the point system for bingo itself, it's 3 points a correct answer. I think it prioritizes the least number of players used, then the length of time taken for joint, for point scoring. For the mini games, the way I count it is that the top 5 get points, as with all the other games. So first place gets 5 points, second gets 4th. If there are 2 people tied for second, then 2 people get 4, and then the next spot is 4th. And my score is completely ignored, so I don't impact that in any way at all. Although maybe I should. Who knows? I mean, I don't want to have myself on my own leaderboard. That would be weird. That would be far too weird. So yeah, that's kind of the way we work it. So we have 4 people joint in 5th, so they will all get 1 point. I got that for sure. Literally if anyone claims to be a fan of a Chelsea Strasbourg player, I will assume they're you. So if other people use that format, you will get bonus points, which is quite nice. Al Riyad want pizza pasta. He hasn't been able to tackle. I mean, if they want to spend big money, I'm not necessarily going to be averse to it. Because I think that... So we're going to get the Juventus game out of the way. I'm then going to look to see what the information is for some of the players that we've got. See if there are any that we need to start scouting now. Because I think we definitely want ourselves a striker now that we're playing with a poacher. I think we could probably do with another centre-back, given that outside of Monterisi, they haven't been great. Hernandez, we know it's his last year. He's 35. He's definitely leaving. We know that. Vex is in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? How was your weekend? So Crommo, what if you get a user called Pat Nevin fan? Could be Crommo, or it could be Ladislav Almasi fan. I've said anyone that goes for the player name fan format, I'm now going to assume it's Ladislav Almasi fan at all situations. So if the whole top 5 are different, insert Chelsea player fan, do you get all the points? Yes, you do, Ladislav Almasi fan. I am setting the precedent now, and I will definitely remember this conversation the next time it comes up. Crodmo, does that mean you should get all the points awarded to Crodmo fan? No, because I know that Crodmo fan is energy. I never established a rule that says people call Crodmo. Because also, Ladislav Almasi isn't getting the points for Ladislav Almasi fan. I mean, it could be. It'd be very weird if Ladislav Almasi was a regular watcher of the stream, and using a username called Ladislav Almasi fan. It's rigged against it. It is rigged. It is rigged. I mean, it could actually be Pat Nevin. It could be. But I've heard that Pat Nevin is a Ladislav Almasi fan. So he'd want it to go towards Ladislav Almasi fan. Poor Crodmo, eh? So you're running off with your friends, DM Basis, Brazilian Fury and RJ. Perfect. Thank you very much, guys, for taking him. Just be happy you don't start with minus 10 points. Oh, the day I do dock you 10 points is going to be worth it. DM Basis thinks that's something that Ladislav Almasi would do, to be fair. Oh, those are shocking words. The Ladislav Almasi slander. So what about someone called Ladislav Almasi fan? So Ladislav Almasi fans, all of their points go to draw. Yeah. So if you are a fan of a fan, all those points will go to draw 1983. You know, this is the problem with asking questions whilst I'm live, is that my answers will make absolutely no sense. But thankfully, I probably will forget by the next time I stream, so none of it will matter. Actually, no, I didn't mind him as a false nine. We didn't change that last game round in the end, so that's okay. Bonato has been consistently poor. I mean, that is great consistency there. So he's playing badly, so I want him now to try doing more things. Another 4-2-3-1. So Locatelli's on the left. Goanajerth's on the right. So Gorna Dearth is going to be Kari's responsibility. Kovalenko will end up being Rocha's responsibility. Palmer is going to have to come all the way across out of possession to keep an eye on there. Because these guys drop back. Or track back, sorry. They don't drop back, they track back. Prevent short goalkeeper. Let's encourage them to send it long. We do ask our goalkeeper to roll it out, but he has been sending it long himself a lot. So we're going to add play out defence. And let's see how we go. G&G does indeed have a Feed the Crudmo t-shirt, so he is definitely anti the Mo. Musterman, during summer we're all fans of fans. That's true. That is very true. Kvez is really impressed by fans. They blow me away. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Go out, play for the fans. Rocha, I trust you. So we did win. We did play okay. We did win. We did play okay in our only other home game so far. That was the 3-0 against Lazio. Start, though, hasn't been that promising. There's a Zanotti. That was almost something quite special there. Almost something quite special. So G&G's in the squad. See, you have friends, exactly. Kvez, what is this piece of innocent writing in need of moderation? I almost want to write something bad as a response. It's all, we can all be friends here. We can all be friends here. Right, Björnrod into Kari. What are we going to do from our free kick? We're going all the way back to Atabolo. He finds Rocha. Rocha, under pressure, plays it back, nice and safe. Okay, Navarro. So they're just not sitting in. I'm going to have to move him inside. Because that's frustrating. Rod now into Navarro. Here is Benato. Kari can play it into Isaac. Over the top for Nuama. Nuama's in behind and Nuama hits the post from 6 yards out. Oh, you bastard. You bastard. Kovalenko now sends it forwards. They're flooding forwards. Here's Samuel Idozi. Idozi gets the cross in. Flyovic. The keeper's on the floor. Idozi. Idozi now. He's created the angle. Atabolo gets enough on it behind for a corner. Everything about that has been shite. Locatelli to take the corner. Outswinger with his right foot. In towards the middle. Atabolo, though, claims it nice and easy. It's only the Greeks and Norwegians who are against you. It's that classic Greco-Norwegian tryst. You know, we've always just disliked drummers. Not sure why. Here's Navarro, back to Bjornrod. Rocha, over the top for Nuama. Nuama gets it into Palmer. Palmer, it's a good save from Karnaseshi. Again, this is another game where I think we should have scored twice now, like we should have done against Inter. Juventus should have scored as well, like Inter should have scored against us. I suppose I should be grateful that their finishing is just as bad as ours. But Nuama into Rocha. Over the top for Isaac. Hilgers gets it away. Another corner. Fire up into these last 5 minutes. Blow me means something different in English. I mean, blow might mean exactly the same thing. Right, RJ's off to bed. Long day at the farm tomorrow. Thank you very much for dropping by, RJ. Have a lovely, lovely night's sleep. It says Mrs. Crodmo on the Barry's or Leon's tea side. Oh, on the Barry's. There we go. Always said she had good taste. We should be winning. That's better. There was one highlight that we saw for Juventus, and the highlights aren't showing the full picture. And that highlight consisted of our defenders doing nothing. Our goalkeeper throwing himself to the floor when a cross came in, but then making the save. This seems stupid, because it probably is. But I need him to be more like, he was told to sit narrower and he was like stuck to the touchline. So instead, we're going to try this. That means that he would have been the midfielder left, so he wants to mark the attacking midfielder right position to do his defensive work. This is stupid. But I need them to be in the right position, please. Just once. Just once is all we need. But Nato, with the corner, sends it in. It can't get there. Karnashi claims beautifully. We've got it. It's Adam in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? The man, the legend, formerly known as Traction FM and Foot Like a Traction Engine. Crodmo, sir, would you mind giving Adam a shout out for me? That would be absolutely delightful. How are you? How's your weekend? How's the rebrand? Right, Nuama. Bad touch, Cambiasso gets it clear. Rocha, though, sweeps up for us. Into Navarro, pokes it forward, Benato takes it down. Back to Navarro, Palmer's in behind. This time, Palmer, no! Oh, man. Oh, man, we cannot score. We cannot score. And we can't claim that it's not, you know, we're creating the chances. We should have scored at least twice. This time Palmer's got to do it. Get in. There's no flag.
Milan, it was an ain't nobody I'd rather be. Milan, it was an they can't take that away from me.
Ice cold. Cole Palmer. It only takes him 400 shots to score, but when he does, I mean, he should have done anyway. It's not like he scored a worldie or anything. He does his job. Here's Gornadirth to Locatelli. Diamande. Juventus looking to respond immediately. Zanotti, though, snuffs it out. Here's a chance for us to counter potentially. Nuama, under pressure, immediately has to go back. Now he has it in space. He can run, running into a crowd of bodies. And here comes Elise. Plays it to Edozie, to Diamande. Diamande back to Edozie. Now he's in behind. Edozie turns away. Plays it back to Diamande. He's cut out. Nuama again, just going to run, Nuama. Plays it out wide to Navarro. This is the counter-attack. Navarro kills, still going. Sends the cross in. Izuk with the header and it's over. It's over. Oh. Okay. This has been better in the second half. Let's, though, pause. We are going to make some changes. Those changes are coming in the form of Kerim and Kajuste. Going to make sure that we are doing our defensive work up front. We've said that we want to put the pressure on Locatelli. That's our instructions there. Let's make sure these guys marking is still all as it should be. Gonna do Diamande. Locatelli. Beautiful. Right, it'd be nice to hold on if we can. If we can. You should have been here Friday. He was crap for 3 hours. Actually, I think like Palmer might have scored most of our goals that evening. Blajovic is in behind. Oh, okay. Drop those lines. If Dusan Vlahovic can race onto a ball in behind, there is something very, very wrong. Locatelli with the corner. Atabolo claims. Atabolo now. Look at Bjorn. I mean, Monterisi has players much closer to him there. Bjorn was free, but that's fine. Nuama comes away with it. Nuama, he's got space. They're not challenging. Nuama goes it all alone. Karneshi, though, gets it behind. It's a good save in the end. Jason, what year are we in? We're in the 2032-33 season. This is the 10th season of the save. It's Adam, not too bad, thank you. Always better for... Oh, bless you. Quiet weekend. Been somewhat under the weather again, Joys. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I hope it's a sign of things getting better, though. Hopefully. Although, isn't that typical? You get better for the working week rather than the weekend when you want to enjoy your time. Right, so... changes of these players. Palmer looks slightly more tired to me, so we're going to bring on Reinders there. And we're going to bring off Rocha for pizza pasta. We're going to drop the tempo. We're going to try and see the game out. And we will start time wasting with the next substitution. And that's going to be Isaac off and pizza on. Both pizzas are on. See if we can hold on for the last 5 minutes or so. Please. Please. The single brain cell achieves full power for a brief second and we're ahead. That's the problem. I was hoping that his single brain cell would mean that he'd be like an instinctive finisher, like Cambiasso, pulling forwards, but that's okay. Pizza Pasta reads the pass, intercepts, finds Reinders. Here we go for the counter-attack. Kerim, cross to Nuama. Nuama's got to score this time, surely.
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh, Bill Houdini, you absolute star. That is 6 months. You are an absolute gentleman. Thank you very kindly. You thought it was Monday due to the bank holiday. You almost missed the stream. I mean, it's this weird thing of doing it Tuesday, Thursday this week. Luckily we got away with it. Right, so that's our best performance of the stream. We did underperform our XG by 1.68. We missed like 4 massive chances. Palmer and Nuama. I mean, Isaac headed over from like 6 yards out as well, but, you know, that was a little bit high, that cross, to be fair. But that is a win over Juve, who were ahead of us in the league. They are still ahead of us in the league. We are still 7 points. We're 7 points behind Fiorentina. We're behind Inter now, but they have a game in hand. So we've closed our gap to Juve up to 1 point. But they haven't won in 3 now, to be fair. Our draw against Inter. Inter were behind us, but they've now played a game more. I think that's what's happened there. Little bit of a gap to Torino. It's kind of okay. So this is looking like what we're doing. Which is, it's dumb, but we just weren't getting the narrowness from the inverted winger whatsoever. Oh, Senegal! I missed that Senegal scored. That is crazy. Awesome, 2-1 now. That kick, 3 points for Wales. Have Wales just missed a penalty? Knee. Right, DM Bassist is off. Catch you on Thursday. Thank you very much for being by. If Fiorentina win, you're okay with that? They have the coolest jerseys in Italy. That is fair. Welcome in, Gino. How you doing? Lovely to see you. More or less the coolest in the world. That is true. Second only to RBK away kits. Really? I mean, can you really? Oh, I don't have the config files set up. I don't think I have the config files set up. Oh, I do. I do still for kits because they're relatively low. I mean, look at them. They're all so pretty. I know these are old. Like even that third kit. They're very, very pretty. And I don't even care about kits. That's how pretty they are. We've got those guys rested. Bjorn is actually... Let's talk to him about resting. Going to rest you for a match. He's going to support that, which is cool. So just take him out the squad entirely. So let's try Kerem as a starter. That's going to be... And I say we are going to play a reasonable number of our backups in this game. Theo. Away game against Palermo to follow. For that, I want to look at our transfer options, potentially see if we can find. So my priority is a striker, someone that could be good in the air. Our Davy Selka, potentially. So Ladislav Magoiki's on for England. Well, hey, guaranteed goal for him. Or guaranteed misses. Loads and loads of misses. So is it with Senegal leading, does Senegal deserve to be ahead? Has it been another really like limp performance from England, or is it against the run of play? Yeah, let me know what's been happening as we look here. So I want someone with headers won ratio, say around 40%. So there's loads of players there, which is good. Let's find a player that is scoring at least a goal every other game and is overperforming their XG. So in fact, everyone who's that's made absolutely no difference. If we do this, does this make a difference? There aren't many strikers out there underperforming their XG. Evan Ferguson is not a consideration. We're not spending that much money. Juan Carlos Couto though, 16 goals in 20 games is incredible. In La Liga, he's not great in the air. Oh, it's not great in the air, but he is winning his headers. Right, he got a move last season, scored 13 in 36. Before that, kind of doing okay. Like solid performances considering his age. He's currently 24, so that's his 23, 22, 21, 2019. Yeah, he's doing all right. All right, I suppose. So also Proper Borg, Habib Diarra with the worldie for the second Senegal goal. Oh, interesting. So Yassine El Ghizi, I hope you're doing well. Struggling to customize the percentiles from top 20 base comparisons to N. Can you please tell me which FML files to look into? Yes, look in classes pizza. It's all there. And I mean, it's really straightforward when you see that, but you will need to fill in the percentiles for every single one. It's a very long and boring manual job. So have fun. So we will let's get that updated. Let's add him to the shortlist. I'm not sure. It doesn't necessarily feel like the profile that I'm expecting, but okay. Gyökeres does fit our old man approach. That is for sure. So is Oliveira the most underrated left back? Check out his stats for Moneyball. Absolute wall. Thank you for the suggestion, Flexium. So I'm assuming you're talking about Matthias Oliveira. He won't be in this game anymore, I doubt, because we're a long way in. But Matthias Oliveira does often come up as a player that performs quite well. That said, though, the players that I find to be really good, very undervalued, very specific tasks is if you're looking for someone who's going to help you build up and sit a little bit deeper, David Schnegg is possibly one of my favorite players in the game. And then in a more attacking sense, there's a Strasbourg left back whose name I can't remember. And there's also Serge Akiem, who's usually available for around £800,000 at the start of the game, who, as a more attacking left back, just get down the wing, cross it. Really limited attribute profile, but just performs consistently over and over again. Absolutely incredible. So Gyökeres is not a player I would consider to be... I mean, he could be a poacher. Moves into channels is a bit of an issue. It's winning headers at a decent rate, but not challenging for many. Playing as a striker, carrying the ball a lot. Great natural fitness, so we don't have too much concerns about him dropping off majorly. His contract's about to expire as well. 195k a week, perhaps a little bit too dear for me. But yeah, let's do it. Let's keep an eye on him. Could be a consideration. So Yassine, it's not boring. You're loving it. No, well, you're welcome. That's all good. I say, if you can find a way, if you've set out if you've got your data set for your percentiles, I think the way I ended up doing it, not initially, like the first time took me literal weeks, but essentially just creating a script so that it follows the format. Generally, it still took a long time, but can maybe shave a little bit off. So let's see, Douglas here. Now, this isn't a league we've got loaded, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't look beyond there. I mean, it does suggest that even when a league's not in full detail, this is someone that can win headers and score goals, albeit pretty much bang on his XG. Jumping isn't great, heading isn't great, and that's before we've got full scouting there. So I don't expect him to be the answer, but certainly again worth just seeing if we get any more information. Esposito is the obvious one here, isn't he? But that cost is likely to be prohibitive. 70% header win rate is obscene. He does fit the bill of what I like in a poacher. Maybe someone who we could potentially unsettle. See if something happens. Napoli are currently in 13th, so, you know, maybe he'd be quite easy to unsettle in some regards. So that's the hope. And Gyökeres, wonder if he will move in real life. Surely he's going to move this summer. I mean, the talk is, I mean, yeah, granted, there was a lot of talk of him moving in January and he didn't, but you feel like he's surely going to end up moving on. El Bilal Toure, we can't sign him anyway because he's on loan, so we'll ignore that right now. Oboav Waduo, not a player I'm familiar with. Now he's playing as a winger, I'm guessing. Oh, he's barely playing at all, not enough minutes. I should have put a minute thing in there, but you know, we'll work that out in due course. 120 minutes is fine. 40%, right on the cusp. 11 games up front. Sensational goal scoring numbers. Again, really bad bravery. All these new gens with bad bravery. When I'm looking at a poacher, you know, I'm looking for someone who's going to be getting themselves in where people are swinging legs to clear the ball and stuff. So I don't like low bravery. But again, like, he meets the criteria from a performance standpoint at the moment, so let's just keep an eye on him. Vasquez, now there we go, there's an old man, that's a little bit better. So, Nguyen, welcome in. Is the skin free? Is the skin free, chat? So, the skin, this skin in particular that's on stream right now, no, it's not. It is available to Patreons, but it has limitations. But the more regular Musterman Iconic skin is freely available around at the link that Crodmo has done. Thank you, Crodmo. So Luis Vasquez, 6'3", 7 goals, 55% header win rate. One of his goals has come from a penalty, but otherwise not a major concern there. He can jump. He's brave. He can't dribble. I don't need a poacher to dribble. He's not slow. That looks like a me kind of player. I gotta be honest with you. Frederick Nord. Now Frederick Nord here is described as a poacher. He's 6'5". He's young. I do apologise. Welcome in, Marv. How you doing, my dude? I hope you are well. 41% header win rate is on the cusp. Out from his XG, none of it from penalties. Shot accuracy is a little bit low, but he is involved in other areas of the game. Has played one game on the wing. 7 and 13 at the Allsvenskan level. Probably not good enough. Like, the difference between Allsvenskan and Serie A, I'd probably want him to be scoring like a goal a game at least. Even though he's not far off, I strongly doubt that Frederick Nord is the answer. But again, let's give him a watch. Certainly something to at least consider. Frederick Nord runs around screaming for Skyrim. For the Nords, indeed. Oh, welcoming up the Mariners. How you doing? How are you doing? Zerachul, a Swede. Well, skeptical. I mean, you've got to let him be. Got to let him be. He only starts half the games for Elfsborg, indeed. But he's also like, there's also the possibility that he's just an undervalued player. But I'm not thinking he's going to be there. I don't think he's going to have any hope of being a part. But we'll see. Right, in Serie B, 6 goals and 11. Again, this is the same thing. Lower level. You kind of want him to be exceptional. He does not scream. Well, actually, very creative. Headers 1 isn't too bad. Bad first touch. Bad passing. Bad off the ball. I don't think, like, attribute-wise, I don't think he's the one, but we'll keep on scouting. Keep on scouting. Alan Skinner. I don't want another English player in Milan, do I? 259 minutes. We can skip there. Right, league we don't have loaded, so that we do have to be mindful of. But there are suggestions he could be a good player. Won't need to analyse them quite as much. Definitely can't head. I'm not going to send a scat. I mean, because the league's not loaded, and there's already, we already know that he can't head. So, like, scouting him further isn't going to suddenly reveal that he's better than we think. So that's no point there. Does he get on base? Well, that's what we hope to find out. Oh shit! Finland game suspended. Medical emergency in the crowd. Not looking good. Oh god. Well, I hope that sorts itself out. Oh, that's always a worry. That's always a worry. Right. Chanuzan is playing as an attacking midfielder mostly. He scored 5 goals though when he started up front. Most of it, he has been boosted by scoring penalties there. Doesn't have strength or bravery. I wouldn't consider him as a possible striker. Roberto Fernandez. Now this is a man that... Right, so here we go. This is what I'm talking about. 2nd division in Spain, La Liga Hypermotion, but he is absolutely tearing it up. I wouldn't mind that as a possible risk. Even though he's old, you know, well, old is what we're looking at a lot with AC Milan, but that feels like a lower level player that I am encouraged by. England equalise. It's Jude Bellingham. There we go. As a lads, I'm a massive fan. Canuzan once scored 25 Bundesliga goals from central midfield for you. I can certainly see him scoring a lot as an attacking midfielder for sure. Because it's all going to be about timing the runs and taking shots from different positions. As a poacher, yeah, definitely not my kind of man. Right, Brashy, the first thing that points out is he comes deep to get ball. I want him to stay high because as a poacher I want him in the box. Underwhelming goal scoring numbers. 1 penalty. Yeah, that's not great. Headers 1 is pretty decent. So again, we'll keep an eye on him, but I'm not sure he excites me. And 3rd division France, nah, that's not a thing we're interested in. Right, so we've got some strikers, and then we've got the game against Porto coming up. So getting some Ericsson flashbacks, yeah. I mean, it doesn't. When I say it happens regularly, I don't mean like every other game or something like that. But we do seem to have a lot of games that are stopped now for in England at least. You know, maybe once every few weeks. And considering there's a lot of games each weekend, right? But you know, they'll be stopped for a medical emergency in the crowd. I think some of that is better training and awareness. You know, you've got people noticing that someone's wrong and making sure that attention is there, and then it being dealt with, which is at least a good thing to happen. But yeah, it's a scary moment. Up the Mariners, why is there VAR? It's a friendly. Well, surely you've got to be used to... you want your friendlies to be as similar to real competition situations as possible. Oh, so the goal's been disallowed. Still 2-1. Offside then, or was there something else? Kvares, I think it would have been satisfied with the next FM as long as it's possible to make stats be limited to open play. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Now, I imagine that we're probably not going to see any... I hope I'm wrong. I have a feeling that from like a stats perspective, we probably won't see anything new. Or we might see something new, but we might see some less stuff as well. So, I mean, I've prepared myself for the likelihood that we're going to get less stuff. Mainly because they mentioned the chalkboard, right? So they said that the chalkboard was going. And we've got all these stats are classified under chalkboard here. So you've got general stats. And you've got stats classified under chalkboard. I imagine that they will probably look through and review these, and some of them might not make it through. I think there might be some things where they go, we're not actually happy with how it's being recorded, and there may be some things where they go, well, actually, there are better stats out there for recording these actions that we don't necessarily have the means to put in right now, but carrying over they might not. So I'm prepared for less, but who knows? So it's a Levi Colwell handball. There we go. You hope that Koltov is trying to influence that. I mean, he most definitely will be trying to influence it, but I imagine he will also. I mean, if there are restrictions and difficulties and things, he'll probably be reasonably familiar with understanding why as well. So I'm sure he will fight. But if stuff doesn't improve in that regard for the next one, that isn't like a reflection of him not fighting, if you know what I mean. So John, so let's hope he gets better. Been resuscitated for about 20 minutes now. And you're right, we seem to be getting loads more medical emergencies. What annoys me are the little anti-vax geniuses who always jump to their conclusions. It always, every single time, without a doubt, there will always be people that will seize on it without any evidence. But it is old man shouts at cloud type of thing. Is they're going to shout about it regardless. Don't give it the oxygen. Just try your best to shut it out and focus as like people do on wishing people well and making sure that you're informed to know how to spot when someone is unwell so that you can be the person that calls out when something happens and potentially help someone along the way. And don't worry about the idiots. Easier said than done, for sure. Because idiots are always going to be idiots. So up the Mariners, you don't know what the point of VAR is, gets too many decisions wrong. I mean, so was it a wrong decision? Ladislav, our massive fan, didn't seem to indicate that it was a bad decision. Didn't give an opinion. So I'm not saying that Ladislav, our massive fan, saying it's right. The medical car also didn't say it's an awful handball decision or anything like that. So, I mean, is it a bad decision? Luxembourg Island ends 0-0 against Luxembourg. Eesh. John Joe came on in injury time for his debut. Well, hey. Right, let's bring off Isaac. Let's give Mosconi the start. That's the other change. So we've got loads of changes. Ignore the players that aren't in the squad. That's absolutely fine. Rod is being rested because he's knackered. Welcome in, Old Fashioned. Having played out of the park baseball, Ho's stats are unreal. Wish we had that depth. Would be nice. But I think it's going to be like gradual, right? Surely. So how did Jake O'Brien do? Good question. Well, I mean, you didn't concede against Luxembourg. I don't know if that's something that you can ever take as a moment of pride, but I mean, it could be worse, right? have fun. Have fun. I have faith. Let's make sure we sort out our marking again. They don't have an attacking midfielder. So, Gravenberg, that is your responsibility. Palmer covers down that side. Opposition, we've got Johansson on the left. And Musa on the right. So that bit's fine. We will mark up the guys in advanced positions. We will apply pressure on Gravenberch. Let's do this. Oh. Right, we lost against Valencia. We could really do with picking up a point here. We're in a reasonable position. I think we're still in the top 8, aren't we? No, we dropped out of the top 8 after the last set of results. So Valencia were top of the group. That's fine. Maybe we're already out of the top 8 and I just calculated wrong. Because if we win, we can only go up to 12 points, right? So we could creep in there. Early signs, not much great is happening. We've had a couple of chances, they've had a couple of chances. Nothing of particular quality though. Here comes the first highlight though. Here's Johansson. You beauty, Load FM. Welcome in, Raiders. How are you? How was the stream? It's lovely to see you. Now, if you guys aren't following Load, you most definitely should be, because he is an absolute gentleman. A wonderful, calm, enjoyable streamer. I think we've often popped around. Thank you very much, Crabbo. We've often popped down, I think, of the week when we've done weekend streams during the daytime. So you're playing a bit of LMA. Oh, interesting, nice and retro. Who you playing with? 2003. There's got to be some great teams to pick back then as well. Right, I don't like what we saw. We are going to bring off Nuama because he is played a lot of games. We're going to push Pineapple Pizza up. We have had the better of it, even though the highlight was for Porto. So let's see how we get on in this second half. 10 minutes in. One more shot. Still not worthy of a highlight, though. Let's fire these guys up. Theo picks up an injury, so Bockers can come in. Might as well make a second change at this time. Kerem off, Benato on. So you ignored them all to manage Darlington. The mighty Darlington, right? The mighty Darlington. VAR, obviously you'll get some wrong decisions without VAR, but you'll just have to accept it and move on. With VAR, it's more difficult because they have all the tools to get every decision, and it still feels that week in, week out, someone gets screwed. I mean, that's fair, but also I get that. So, like, certainly in England, when VAR first came into play, they were really involved. They were overturning loads and loads of decisions, and like often making the right decisions in that regard. They were dealing with situations where the referee had made a wrong decision, but they'd overturn it, and then we got loads and loads of outcry about them re-refereeing decisions. And like over the course of the next year, and again I can only speak about England, but they increased the bar ever so much more before they can intervene. So that now that VAR is essentially completely and utterly impotent, as Valmir sends it in, and that's a penalty in injury time. Goody! Now, guys, just to let you know, we are going to be ending after this game, not because I'm about to lose. Largely because we've got the next break coming up shortly, and I was going to order some pizza. But it's okay, because we can end on a relative high, because Atabolo has made the save. Beautiful stuff. So you like VAR for decisions that are black and white, offsides, goal line technology, but other than that, the rules are too subjective to make it work right now. I mean, ultimately, we're not far away from non-VAR technology being able to handle that. Like the automated offsides is a separate system. The goal line technology is a separate system. So we can kind of like that would essentially get rid of VAR entirely. I don't agree with getting rid of VAR. VAR is not the issue. It's both the people operating VAR and the clarity of the rules surrounding it, which is the issue. I would much rather good decisions get made. Currently, you can have a system whereby bad decisions get made and sometimes get corrected, and sometimes bad decisions get made and don't get corrected, which is slightly better for me than bad decisions getting made and never being corrected, even after Villa got robbed on the final day of the season, right? Cool. So in that game, we had a better XG per chance than Porto before the penalty, but none of our chances were worthy of a highlight. So there are issues there, but away from home is what we need to fix. I think we played really well against Juventus. We were decent enough against Napoli as well, and then we had 3 away games. We ground out a draw against Inter. We lost to Valencia. That's all right. So cool. Right, and that is, as we said, where we are going to end it for tonight. So I can get pizza. And it's all the Crez's for... was it the Crez who mentioned pepperoni? I'm going to get myself a pepperoni and pineapple pizza. That is what we're going with. So, YouTube, I end the stream first over with you guys. We'll be back on Thursday evening, 7 p.m. BST. It'd be lovely to see you then. But if not, thank you.